Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another one of our webinar series here at Ward-Kraft. Today is Wednesday, May 6th, and 10 a.m. Central Time. Hope everybody's in the right place. Today, we're going to be discussing an interesting topic. Durable or digital labels is an area of our company that it's a smaller area that's many of you may not be aware of everything that it can do. Obviously, not an area where my main focus is. So I brought along a guest with us today, and I'm going to be asking questions of our specialist in that area. Her name is Michelle Harrison. I'm Greg Schrader and generally a plastic sales rep, but today we're talking about some label products. So I'd like to introduce Michelle and have her tell us a little bit about herself.
Good morning, Greg. Good morning, everybody. My name is Michelle Harrison. I've been with Ward-Kraft working on 12 years. Been in the same department, the digital labels area, since I started. Started as a production person, and now I'm the lead there doing composition, customer service, and running presses every now and then.
Thank you, Michelle. And Michelle, like she said, she's been with the company for a while. She really knows what she's doing in this area, and anytime almost any of us on the sales team have questions dealing with what happens in that division, it's pretty much we go straight to Michelle, and then usually the customers end up interacting with Michelle directly, you resellers out there. So we just kind of step out of the way because she really knows what she's doing in that area. So as we were talking and preparing for this, some of the discussion came up, and we always call this area digital labels. And in our discussion, digital labels may not be the most accurate name for this division. And can you explain why that is, Michelle?
Well, when it started several years back, digital label was not a well-known thing. And now people think digital label as a full 4-color process label, where we produce more of a durable label on synthetic materials using a spot color process. So really a better name for us would be durable labels instead of digital. They are a digital cut and a digital print, but not the 4-color process everybody thinks of when they say digital label.
So to head people in the right direction with that, Michelle, what are the products that you actually produce in the digital/durable label area?
Well, we have 2 primary products that we produce. We have 2 product lines, the first one being the asset tags, and then the second is pretty much everything else. We have a variety of things there in the everything else.
So in the everything else, what exactly does that mean? What products are in that everything else?
We have, like I said, everything is on a synthetic material, so they're very durable. We have warning labels. We have ROHS and UL certified labels. We have control panels, instruction labels, webbing directions, just anything that you would need to let somebody know something about what you're sticking it to. A lot of danger and warning, a lot of lockout, tag out instructions, things like that.
Okay. And so you broke it down into really those 2 categories, and asset tags, obviously by breaking that out, there's some importance to that for you. So explain to everybody what exactly is an asset tag and who is the person that needs an asset tag?
Well, on the asset tags, anybody really can use an asset tag. Anybody really needs an asset tag, especially in today's day and age where you've got people in and out, a lot of home stuff going on right now, but any business, any entity that has things inside their building, outside their building, construction work, banks, schools, anything there's a lot of government and other funded places that require those asset tags by law. One really good example is like for a school where a 1-cent sale tax has been passed, and that money can only be used for, say, online education. So it can only be used for computers, can only be used for iPads and things like that. And we know once those things get used a lot, schools will sell those off. And so a lot of times you need an asset tag that is for the school itself, but also says it was mill funded or something like that, so that once those products are sold at auction or something like that, those funds go back to that particular levy that was passed or whatever. But also, we're coming into tornado and hurricane season. If by chance your business was hit by one of those natural disasters and your stuff is strewn two states away, it helps with recovery of items. And a lot of people think it just helps prevent theft, but it really helps return your items to you for a multitude of reasons.
Right. So it's really an all around asset management tool. And as you can see in the images that we're showing, on the side of the camera is that label. And when I'm out talking to people, people may not know what the term asset tag means. And everybody seems to understand the property of labels. And that's really what an asset tag is. So in these asset tags, I know that sometimes you see them in white and you see them a variety of different things. So are there standard sizes? Are there standards that are used, or is it just all across the board? And, what are the standard sizings, things like that?
Well, we offer 4 basic materials in 3 standard sizes. Now, we can do custom sizes, but you're going to get your best pricing using our standard sizes. We offer a 1x2, a 1.5 by 3/4, and then we also offer one that's called an asset tracket. And it's almost a 1x2, but it has 3 little tabs to the side of it that help with other identification processes. We offer those on polyester and vinyl materials. We have our 2 most popular are our 2 mil white polyester and our 2 mil matte silver polyester. Then we do have people that need a security feature on those asset tags, and we do offer a 2 mil security void that leaves the word void behind when the tag is removed. And we also offer a 7.5 mil destructible vinyl that doesn't come off in one piece. It breaks apart very easily when it comes off. So there's some options there. And then we also offer some laminates on some of those. And we do have a 8 mil UV laminate that works really well for construction and outdoor type assets that you're going to be labeling.
And so that really covers the sizes and the materials. I noticed also on the screen there's this color chart. Are there limitations in colors? Do the colors mean something, or where do the colors play?
The colors, we only have a few colors that we can offer in the asset tag program with the equipment that we use there. Like I said earlier in our talk, we use a resin ribbon, and it's very durable, very, very strong. It's a 3 to 5 year outdoor without a laminate. And like I said, we use a spot color process. So you see the colors there, and they have approximate PMS colors next to them. But those are, if you're looking at it, those are the colors we can offer. And there's no color matches or mixing of colors.
Right. Okay, great. And so with that, and we talk about these asset tags, and before we talked about everything else. And before we really move on there, I think one thing with asset tags that I have learned from the selling side that I'll throw into this is that asset tags are one of those items that all you need to do is ask about a lot of times from the selling perspective. So when you're in already talking to many companies that are probably utilizing asset tags, and simply by asking the question, hey, do you utilize asset tags, and how are you procuring those asset tags? You may be in a position where they just say, oh, can you do that for me? And be able to provide them a quote. It's always great to get samples of items. So if we have samples of what they're currently doing, it'd be very easy for Michelle to take that sample and say, this is exactly what it is. This is how it's being used, and we can recreate that.
Yeah, they're a great add-on item. It's kind of like an impulse buy at the store. You're already in there selling them something else, and anybody can use them. So it's kind of like, hey, yeah, you using these? I got them too. So
right. And it can boost your business. I mean, when we see the asset tags are one of those that have a wide range of volume for us. So really, so we talked about all these things such as particular sizes, particular colors. And as we move on to the next with the everything else category that we talked about, what are some of those things that play into that as far as what is the everything else? Who needs them? Are there particular size ranges that you have to stay within? And color, obviously, we flip the page here and you see the color chart, much more wide range of colors. So tell us a little bit more about that, Michelle.
All right. Well, on this, it's a different set of equipment from what we usually run our asset tags on. So we do have a few more colors available. I would say quite a few more colors available. And again, when you're looking at that color chart, keep in mind those are just approximate PMS color matches. They're not 100% guaranteed. And like asset tags, just about anybody can use the labels that we produce. We produce multitude of size. We don't have a die charge because we do cut them digitally. So that's part of the digital label part of it. And we can cut anything from 1/4 of an inch, basically, up to 11.8 inches. Our max web width for the print would be 11.8. So we can do anything in between. It's a knife-driven Illustrator type file that we use there. It's really great. We have a lot of people that use us for prototypes for larger projects because there is no die charge and they can tweak their size, get everything right to start with, especially when they're working with nameplates and product labels and control panels that have to have a spot for a button or something like that. They may need to tweak those before they move on to a bigger place where they're going to get them, mass produced. With that said, we can do quantity wise, we can start with one and we'll work up to, we have asset tags that we run 100,000 at a time. It all depends on how many colors, what material, things like that. When we start becoming too cost prohibitive with our process that we do. We have a multitude of materials we use, from the polyesters that I mentioned in the asset tags. We also have clear, white, and colored vinyls that we use. We have our 10 mil velvet Lexan that's used a lot for the control panel area. We have just kind of it's not an unlimited process of things we can do, but we have a wide variety of scenarios we could help out with. Everything we do is a synthetic material, so we're going to always be water resistant, things like that.
And so I'm going to throw this in. So you mentioned, Michelle, I don't think we've talked much about it. This page we're showing, even though we're talking about everything else, does mention UL and this ROHS. What does that mean to somebody?
On the UL portion of that, it's Underwriters Laboratory, and there are some products like the hairdryer that's shown in the picture there that by certain laws and things like that for importing purposes or whatever, have to have everything tested. The label itself has to be tested that it's not going to burst into flames by itself, things like that. That it will last the lifetime of the product that it's on, things like that. And we undergo a lot of testing. We send in samples yearly. We get quarterly inspections. And if your customer is needing a UL label, the best thing to do is give them our UL manufacturer number, have them research that online to see if we meet their need. There's so many needs and different regulations that I can say I'm UL certified, but not always for the product that they need. And I didn't bring that number with me and I don't know it off the top of my head, but we can get that to people later if they need that. On the ROHS compliance, that is an international thing itself. It's the European directive about certain chemicals that are or are not in the product. And all of our materials are within the ROH compliance scenario, and we do have paperwork to back that up.
And so on the UL, do we know, is there a certain number of our product or is all of our product UL certified?
There are certain things that are not. We only offer a limited number of materials. Our 2 mil white poly, our 2 mil matte silver, our 2 mil clear poly, those base materials, the brushed silver and the shiny silver, those base materials are UL certified. A few of our laminates are 1 mil gloss poly overlam and our 5 mil Lexian overlaminate. Those are all UL certified. So there are limits to what products we can do. Also our control panels on the 10 mil Lexan, those are UL certified as well. So there are just a few, I think it's 10 classes that we're certified under where we can print product that's going to become a permanent part of it. And we also are certified to print the UL bug if they require that in their art.
Right, so it sounds like Michelle has a lot going on in her area. Looks like we do have a couple questions coming in. There is a question and answer tab available on your screen, and if you have any questions, you can always throw one to us through that. But there are a couple questions coming in. So first question is dealing with, and I think that we do really well with this, but it's what kind of turn times do you see on this product? How long of a process is this to get somebody these? Let's say somebody needs 1,000 asset tags. How long does that take?
Okay, with the asset tag program itself, if it's just 1,000 quantity, we do a 2-day turn time on those. Everything else that we do, if it's a quantity of 1 to 10,000, we have 3 days. 10,001 to 30,000, we have a 5-day turn time. 30,001 to 60,000, we have a 10-day turn time. And 60,001 to 100,000 is 15 days. If we go over that 15 days at the 100,000, it's kind of dependent on what the product is that's going out. I generally turn proofs within 24 hours of getting your order, so that process is rather quick for me as well.
Right, great. And you've mentioned it a couple times, but so you keep saying 1, 2 when you're talking about quantities. So is 1 the minimum quantity?
1 is the minimum quantity. I say 1 and people go, okay, so 100, 1, that, no, 1. We'll do just 1 if you need it.
Great, great. So also it looks like another question coming in on the, noticing on the asset tag, there is the barcode. And does that mean that you have variable printing capabilities? Also, can somebody get a logo put on their asset tag?
Logos, as long as they will produce well at a 300 to 600 DPI process, we can do logos and we don't charge extra for that. You can get static information on your barcodes. You can get, or on your labels, you can get we offer several different barcode styles. We also just do variable numbering. We can do variable numbering, not variable imaging. So if you have to have words change from line to line or something like that, it's kind of a basis of, can I do it all in the same text line? So the variable numbering, usually not a problem. Variable text can become a problem, but we can work through that on some cases.
And are there particular barcodes being used on asset tags?
The standards right now are a code 39, a code 128, and then we also can do QR codes. Those are the 3 big ones. We have other options, but those are the 3 big ones being used right now.
All right. And it looks like we're running low on questions there. So is there anything else you'd like to add here about your products and about what you guys, services you perform? I'm just excited to be able to talk about my labels and get things out there and hopefully help people with some things that they didn't know Ward-Kraft did, refresh their memory on some things that they go, oh, I forgot you did that. So just really glad for everybody to tune in, and I can't wait to hear from people as the afternoon and days go on for the rest of the week. Okay, and we did have one more question, but I saved it to answer. It was a question about this material itself. I mean, the actual images you're seeing on the screen. And so, yes, for everybody out there, if you would like a copy of this flip book or any information we have, we would be happy to supply that to you. And it can be supplied without removing our Ward-Kraft information and my information from the bottom, so that you can utilize this in any way you want. We can also, if needed, potentially help you with making sure you have good files that you can rebrand and utilize for yourself. So those asking those types of questions, our marketing department is 100% here to support you, and we can help you. Just let us know how we can do that. So while we bring this into an end and wrap it up, I think, what would we like you to do next? Even from the beginning, is I think my personal take of this, and then I'll kind of flip it over to Michelle for her take. When we look at this, we will give you Michelle's information. We'd love for you to reach out to Michelle, have a conversation with her, learn more about this, tell her about the projects you're working on. But my real call to action is, every person you go to talk to over the next week, just ask them, do they utilize asset tags, and could you potentially quote them for them next time they need them, and just see what kind of response you get. I think you'll be surprised at how many people are actually using these products. So Michelle, what would you like them to do?
Yeah, just go ahead, reach out to us, request those samples, ask questions. There's no, no bad question. Just anything that you're curious about, just go ahead, leave us a question, answer, feedback, request the samples, give us a call. Just, get out there and have fun. They're a fun label to sell.
Right. And so you see Michelle's information there. She is mharrison@wardcraft.com, and phone number 1-800-821-4021. She is extension 4343. Love to see how many of you reach out to her today. And great way to keep track of what we're going to be doing in the future is make sure you go to LinkedIn and follow Ward-Kraft. That's going to be the easiest way to keep up to date on everything that's happening. So we thank you for your time today, and shoot Michelle any questions you have. Hope we hear from you. Thank you. Have a great day.